No, send it back. No.
Welcome in
I don't
to the
want it.
DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR to sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Pick of the week for you today. Just do whatever Megan says. Because she called a Mikko Rantanen hat trick tonight. Damn. I don't even know what the odds on that would have been.
A lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot. So head on over.
Go Blaise's bets.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm passing the torch off to Megan. I'm done with it. Oh,
Yeah, we'll call it Megan's moneymaker.
Yeah,
There it is.
you go.
Done.
I've never placed a bet in my life. I just say things.
You just say
I don't want to put money behind it. I think the power.
I like that you've at least got the parlance placed a bet. Because the last time that you told us that you had never bet on sports, it was I've never
No,
done
she's
a...
never.
I know.
Yeah,
I've never done a sports betting.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
I've never done a sports betting.
Sports betting.
That's what she said. I've never placed a bet, so we're
getting close.
that door is open. All right, that's the gateway. Talking about betting is the gateway to betting.
Like, you don't have to place a bet. You just have to tell me what you want, and then I'll place those bets. I will reap the rewards, and I'll give you a high five afterwards.
Head on over to
And then
DraftKings.
we'll never get our steak dinners.
That's true. Be sure to use the DNVR code. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. It is toasty up here.
Are there any promotions for people who've never done a sports bet on DraftKings?
Yes.
There are first time user bets every day.
You get like up to $1,000 matched.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so they match deposits that you make, and then they give you free bets along the way. And they're usually
nice.
like literally free bets where they're like, if this team gets 1 yard of offense in the game,
You get $200.
you get $200
Yeah.
worth of free bets, and they break it down into 8 $25 bets.
I don't know about this.
So
Plus
Jesus.
5,000. Not bad.
can
I
we
agree
talk
with
about
Kay. I
New
can't
Hook?
bet.
No, we refuse. We will talk about nobody today. Nobody.
Anyway.
Do we have a
Avs-
timer? I've got a 60-second recap to do.
Avs do win 6-3. AJ's going to try and do this in 60 seconds. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Great.
A minute.
Gives me a chance here.
Don't start, man. Jesse's not here.
A minute to set up for a minute recap. All right.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay.
It's like 1990s CD burning.
Ready?
Man, that was more like 2000.
1, go.
All right, so a great first period for the Avs. A great first period. They dominate the game. They get goals from Logan O'Connor and JT Compher, which are
Depth, boys.
Needed that.
those are depth goals,
Yeah.
especially because you look at the lines for those. You get your defense has 3 of the 4 assists. Alex Newhook has the other. Sick.
Yep.
That's the system working, okay? And then the second period started, and Mikko Rantanen outweights poor Elvis Merzlikins. Makes it 3-0. That lead lasts about the blink of an eye, maybe 2 blinks of an eye. And the penalty parade began that would dominate the second period. And then it got to 3-1 immediately. Eventually gets to 3-2 as Columbus takes over. The third period starts. Columbus ties it at 3-3 early on in the third period. And then the Avs run away with it as Mikko Rantanen cashes in a hat trick, and they win 6-3. Woo!
Just going to ignore Cale Makar's first goal like that, huh?
That's what the rest of the fucking show is for, bro.
He looked over and saw the time. He was like,
I saw the
gotta
10,
move, I gotta move,
I saw
I
the
gotta
10
move.
seconds and I was in the second period and was like, all right, we're
Oh,
just-
boy.
it was the start of the second period with 20 seconds left. I was like,
Let's do this.
"Ooh."
Great recap, AJ.
got it.
Worst
Megan approved.
worst part of the hockey game.
Second period.
Blowing a 3-goal lead or the reffing?
Look, for me, it's blowing the 3-goal lead. Like,
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Easy.
absolutely, and it's the second 3-goal lead that you've blown in as many games.
Yep.
So that's a problem. You can't
sure.
dress that up. But holy shit, the officiating was awful. These dudes must have thought that they were on like prime time television because they wanted to be front row, center stage, the works. They wanted to be on camera all game.
They wanted to keep it close. Keep
Dude.
it interesting.
It was so brutal.
The thing that drives me crazy about this is not that they were making soft calls, but that they were hilariously inconsistent.
Was there, I just want clarification because I never actually looked it up, but was it actually a too many men that they called?
It was, yes.
And
there were only 5 dudes.
We
as far
never
as we
saw
could tell.
any indication that there were more than 5 guys on
They
the ice.
showed the replay, and there was only 5 guys
There
on the
were,
replay.
there were 4 dudes at one point
There were
on that
4
replay.
The replay that they showed in the game was 4 guys with a 5th that hopped on, and that's
Yeah.
when they called the penalty. And it was everybody was like, "What the fuck?" So I want to know if that was legitimately like a truly phantom call.
From every
Or-
angle I've seen, it's not legit, but
Okay, because I
you know.
I know that we always go back and like take a look at these things later when we're like, what? That one I never saw, and it didn't seem like I wasn't like on Twitter throughout the game, but I checked it pretty quickly to see if anybody else.
had it or whatever.
And
yeah.
I never saw anything. I never once saw that penalty. Not once. So that was one where you're like, you blow a 3-goal lead. Yeah. But holy smokes, was there some help getting there?
Like, this isn't even about the Avalanche blowing the lead or anything for me. You as the NHL are putting your game on a global stage,
Yeah.
and that's the reffing you bring?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Like, I think Chris Rooney sucks, but I don't think TJ Luxmore is that bad of an official. But to see how that game got called was absolutely frustrating. Like, it was absolutely frustrating because you're talking about by the time you get to the 3rd period and they call the double minor on Dryden Hunt.
Yeah.
It's a double minor.
He hit him in the
He
face
hits
with
him in
the
the face
stick.
with a stick.
Yeah.
He draws
Bleed.
blood. Like,
Pretty clear cut.
there isn't anything that you could complain about. You're like, now we're at this point. And then the slash that they call in line A.
Yep.
It's right on his hands. It prevents him from making a play. It's like all of these things were relevant. Those are 2 absolutely legitimate, true blue penalties. They were both called correctly, a double minor and a minor.
They're the 13th call of the game because of all the shit that you've called.
They spent all game like ticky-tacky, like making shit up as they go, that when you get legit calls, you're like, Jesus, dude. Like, do you see how ridiculous these calls look compared to the ones earlier?
Yep.
How made up the ones earlier feel when you see what real penalties look like.
How about that McKinnon penalty, though, the cross-check?
Oh,
Where were
my
we at on that one?
God,
Is
that's not a penalty.
Was that soft?
That's not a penalty.
No? I mean, his arms are extended, stick across on a guy that's going to the net.
The same play happened like 10 times in the 3rd period, and then not a single one of them like didn't even
But it's
bat an eye.
not going to the net, though. Like, right? Like, that stuff happens all the time in the
You
corners.
can't call it differently because it's this part of the ice.
Sure you can.
Like,
They do it all the time.
I know, and it's fucking stupid.
I
No, I need you to stop screaming.
No.
I really thought it was a bad call. And then when you've had a penalty parade like this, you have to know players are frustrated.
Yeah.
Right.
They
I
have
think
no
that's
idea what the
added
standard
insult
is.
to injury.
And then you give them the extra 2 minutes and you just keep yelling at him to get in the box. Like, bro, if you have that big of a problem with it, just kick him the fuck out. You've already put your stamp on the game. Why not go all the way and throw out a star player in the global series? Like, come on.
It just seems like Avs have this, like...
It's
They do
insane.
this in the 2nd period a lot, where they take dumb penalties, and, like, you got to know, like, it's a tick-tacky called game, so, like,
Yeah.
you can't do anything, because this is what happens with the Avs. Like, they take all these penalties, and the other team gets back into it, because more than likely they're going to get a point or 2 out of it.
And look, for the record, PK was honestly great tonight.
Yeah, they killed 2 double minors. The goal that gets scored on a power play tonight from Columbus, or on today, not tonight, but does not occur on either one of their double minors.
Yeah.
They had essentially 2 4-minute power play opportunities.
Yep.
Because the first one was like 3:40. Yeah. But did not score on either one of those, and those were in big situations.
Yep.
They needed those. They needed those kills, and they got them. It was great.
And we'll get to the second. I just wanted to get the reffing stuff out of the way so we don't have to talk about it for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Circle back to the first period. Best period of the season for Colorado, maybe?
It was good.
For lines 2 through 4, yes, absolutely.
I mean, there really didn't feel like a downside to that period to me.
Yeah.
I mean, shots ended up like 13-5 or something like that.
17,
Yeah, I had
it
one
was
one
it was like
scare
17,
there with
okay.
Georgie
something like that.
where it hit the post.
yeah, it hit
Yeah,
the post
yeah,
and then
yeah,
him, and then it was
yeah.
And
under
then he
him,
grabbed it, yeah, and then
they
after
poked
the
it
whistle,
in
yeah.
under his body, like they
Yeah.
pitchforked him to dislodge the puck as it slid
But
in.
really,
Scary.
16-7.
6.
Wow.
the one problem you had left with the Avs offense, depth scoring.
Yeah.
You get a goal, new hook to O'Connor,
Yeah.
and you get a goal on a tip in from JT Compher. Depth
Yeah.
scoring solved? Check mark. We're done.
Solved done.
Well, I mean,
That
you-
easy?
I mean, stocks are going up.
You've gotten
Right.
2 goals out of your bottom 6 at that point. It's hard to call anybody like bottom like
The rotation is super weird.
you
at
could
this
really
point.
even just say bottom 9 because that top line continue like you expect the top line to score.
Yep.
But you got 2 goals out of the rest of your forwards, which has been the problem.
And I think the concern too was this perceived demotion to Newhook. How will that affect his ability to be visible? And it was a really quick response to see him set up that play to OC and make himself visible. A lot of that was largely driven by Newhook's drive up the ice. And so I credit him a lot with how that goal gets scored. And I think that's a pretty good answer to can Newhook continue to succeed even if he is at a slightly lesser role.
2 points in 2 games.
I like it.
And I think I should go back and watch it before I bring this up, but does he catch them in a change there? Is that why there was the space that they had? Is that Newhook
I'd
just
have to
went
watch
up
it back,
the ice?
yeah.
I'll watch it real quick.
Because he received it from in the Avs zone, so they might have been in.
Half and half,
Transition,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. And look,
gotta scroll a long way. From
yeah, there's a lot of my breakdown's going to be a work of art.
yeah, they are kind of in a change.
Okay.
And the guy comes off the bench and goes right at Newhook, and that's how
He can
the
get it
center of
across,
the ice
yeah.
ended up open.
Yeah.
Is that nobody took Newhook, and when Newhook saw that he had LOC in the middle and that he had a 1-on-2, he just moves the puck to open space, and they get a break. That puck hits the defender's stick and ramps up and goes in, but that's good offense. Like
Yep.
that's
Well,
you put yourself in a position to get a break like that with all good decisions in good hockey. Crisp passing, good decision making, go to open space. Like seems easy, right? When it works like that.
And Newhook was all over the place tonight, doing a
Yes.
lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Zone entries, defensively, you name it. And, again, the lines are a mess. It feels like every other shift, Bednar's throwing somebody with somebody else in the Avs bottom
Which
nine.
I think continues to be part of their problem.
Yeah.
Is that they
Well,
don't know who they are playing with shift to shift.
I wasn't-
And so when you have a conversation on the bench afterward about, oh, I'm taking this guy, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. Well, okay, great. Now on the next shift is a different guy out there.
I wasn't going to bring this up till later, but you had Jacob McDonald play 3 minutes tonight,
Dude, what's the point?
and you had Mikhail Maltsev play 5, under 5.
I liked Maltsev's game.
It's you're essentially playing with 16 skaters at that point. Like,
Yeah, Evan Rodriguez had like a 23-minute night.
Yeah, let the Avs an ice
Would you
time.
just be
Secondly,
better off removing those guys from your roster
Right.
and saving the cap space?
Right, you might
if
as
you're gonna
well.
use them like that.
Certainly McDonald at 3 minutes. Like, what's the point? I don't get it.
And I think this is where the Abe Kubel
Waiver claim, yeah.
today. I would prefer to do this at the end of the show.
Right.
Talk about this.
I
at
was
the end.
gonna, but we just kind of walked
Yeah,
into the
we
room.
just sort of backed
Yeah.
into. Let's table it for the end of the show. We'll
Sure.
put a pin in it.
Second goal, you get a tip in from JT Compher. I had a sneaking suspicion that this Finland trip could be a get-right trip for Colorado, given Columbus's poor season so far and things like that. But they really solved every problem that they've had, and will sort of. It's certainly offensively. We'll get to Makar's goal in a little bit. This game, as a whole, it felt like the Colorado Avalanche offense that you're used to.
I'm glad you singled out offense.
Yeah, defense is a different conversation.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there.
Because I do agree with you. This felt like certainly 3 lines that attacked 3 lines that had varying degrees of effectiveness, 3 lines that were effective. They did the job. I mean, you get goals from throughout your lineup. You get assists from throughout your lineup like that. You get the production from the back end, but all of it. I mean, all aspects of what you expect Avalanche offensively what for them to look like, I think you saw today.
I think it starts, too, when you have depth scoring right off the bat, right? Because that changes the game plan from the other team where you don't have to just focus on that top line, because when you're looking at the Avs and what has happened in the last 9 games, you're seeing that top line just dominate. So once that happens, then you have to kind of change up your game plan of how you're going to play defense against a team like this, because you're not just worried about one line anymore. You're worried about that whole roster coming at you.
Well, and especially after the first period when you're like, Jesus, these guys just ate us up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that first period, too, set the tone, just with depth scoring right off the jump, but even the second power play unit being able to capitalize on the power play with an expiring power play comes at an opportune time, especially when you look at the landscape of the game entirely. You see how important that second goal is for this team to have a strong first period.
Yeah, and they needed every inch of it in the end. But
It's too bad it didn't carry over the way that you wanted to.
Well, all right. It carried over for 45 seconds
True.
in the second
Well, and I think
period.
that's the point that the couch has made here in the last minute. is
Superstition couch. Anyways,
is that the
shut
depth?
out. Come on.
All right. Well, you tell them they're going to get a shutout next time, and we'll see.
No, we don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say before every game now.
Oy, oy, oy.
Make it into a shirt.
Just a shirt that says shutout.
No, it needs to be like one of those flippable, like changeable shirts, where in one mode it says shh, and the other it says shut out.
Oh, and like the Christian Horner shirt?
Yeah.
I love that shirt. It says I'm a hardcore Christian, and then on the back it says Horner hater. It's the best.
Shirt out.
Before we get into the second period, we are brought to you by Avaca TV. You can go get it today at avaca.tv/DNVR. It's evoca.tv/DNVR. You can watch the Avs on altitude there. They've got AT&T Sportsnet as well. They've got national channels, so you're completely covered for your Colorado sports watching needs. Had people asking me where to watch the game on the watch along. Avaca is the way to do it. Check it out today. They're super awesome. You can also watch the DNVR Nuggets Serbia documentary on Avaca right now.
People loving it.
Yeah.
It's very well received.
It's good stuff. Also brought to you by Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. People were throwing back the, what are we calling them? The red beers?
Oh yeah, what are those?
It's just a,
don't know.
It's just a beer with Bloody Mary mix. Okay.
Thanks, Tiff.
So you can try those tomorrow for the noon game once again. Which actually, the Avs have a number of matinees this year.
Yeah.
Seems like they had very little last year.
Yeah, they
had
really
like
didn't.
one.
Yeah. And they have like 3 weeks in a row. They have one
Yeah.
in March or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so more opportunities
Great
to get
month.
in on the Breck
Yeah.
Brews.
Well, and you notice the NFL season finishes and the NHL is like Flood Sunday afternoon. People need something to do. Yeah.
Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, as we already stated, started great. Is Mikko like the most patient player in the NHL when it comes to puck management? Like almost to a fault at times. It causes him problems.
I mean, we talked about the move that Panarin made in the shootout and how it's like there's only a handful of guys that you would trust to do something like this. Like Mikko's definitely in that class where he's not pressed about anything. Like he's just like, okay, well, if I just take my time, then you'll just get out of my way and I can shoot into an empty net. This is a lot easier than trying to beat you.
I mean, it's crazy when you can see guys that can change the tempo of a game. Because that's hard to do in hockey, right? Like, because usually you're just playing against another team. And when there's a guy out there that can change that tempo, watch out for that dude. If they can speed it up or slow it down. And Mikko slows it down.
There's no coincidence that the guys who slow down the games the best and make everybody play at their pace are the Mikko Rantanens and the Patrick Kanes and the Nikita Kucherovs, Artemi Panarins. Oh, these are all top 20 players that I'm talking about, by the way. And the move, because you're right, a guy that can absolutely dictate the pace of everybody else on the ice.
Yep.
It's a unique ability. And we're talking about a guy slowing it down. Well, they've got guys on the other side that will speed it up in McKinnon and Makar, which, holy smokes, did we see later. But that Rantanen goal to start the second period, it's a good passing play from everybody involved. It's for sure. Really nice play by Rodriguez.
I loved his commitment.
It was
falling on the ice.
I'm getting more and more comfortable with the idea that Evan Rodriguez just belongs here.
I like him so much.
To me, I'm like, this is the guy that when they go into free agency next year,
Just lock it down.
you keep him and you let JT go, because this is a guy that's affecting games in different ways, in a way that you're not seeing from a JT.
Yep.
And because you never would believe which one of those guys is the one making $3.5 million right now. The way that Rodriguez is really, and it's been in different roles, because he was super bad to start the season, but this was another really good effort where we've talked about it before. It's a skill to play with skilled players, and he went from the middle of their lineup. Now he's on their top line, and he's just seamlessly transitioned. And that pass that he makes to Mikko,
Gorgeous.
I mean, he was one of several plays that he made in the game. Very, very good stuff from him. Should have had another assist on a PK.
Yeah, Cogliano really should have scored that. But
it's a great play by Mikko, and gives them a 3-0 lead that fortunately they don't get to enjoy very much. But it does put them there.
And look,
you can't get to 6 without getting to 3
that
first.
goal gives the Avs a 3-goal lead for the second time in as many games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want to be too harsh, but the Avs just fucking fell apart.
Well, and this is where the two stories that we talked about became intertwined.
Yep.
The Avs were not playing good,
Right.
smart, disciplined hockey, and the officiating was really bad.
Yep.
And it opened up the door for catastrophe.
And
it didn't really burn them that badly.
it didn't really burn them that badly. And for starters, I really don't have that much of a problem with the first goal. You take a penalty, the reffing is what it is, and they get a tip play on you and score.
It's a great tip.
You live with
It's the same. I mean, we kind of skipped over JT's tip goal, but
We did,
It's
but
basically the same thing. A
it
guy
is.
goes in front of the net. You
Yep.
throw it out from out high. You get a tip. It beats a goalie. You're not mad at the goalie. You're not mad at your defense.
Yep.
The other team makes a nice play.
Yep.
It's a great tip too from him.
Yeah, it's a great tip.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That was just good old offensive hockey right
and
there.
those are the type of goals where you go, okay, that's why you score 3, is because the other team is also good and can do things.
Yeah, when you trade those goals, you're like, all right, we're even.
Yeah.
We're 1-1 on these tip plays.
And it's the response, right? Because after that goal, the Avs basically spend the rest of the second period just getting completely caved. And it feels a little bit like back in 1819, 1920 with the younger Avs.
You said 18-19. I'm like, man, we're going the way back.
There's a hyphen in there.
Yeah, it was just the way you said it. Just my brain was like, what happened in 18-19?
When this core was younger, they had problems at times stemming the momentum when it swung back the other way.
They definitely rode that roller coaster too hard, and we're seeing it again.
Yep.
And I think that more than anything, I think that's an identity thing, and their full lineup isn't totally comfortable yet. They're not locked
true.
in, and how can they be? Going back to a usage problem, where your lineup is so fractured into distinct usage issues. How do you develop an identity? Is Jared Bednar just trying to survive right now with this kind of usage? Is he just trying to get by? Like, okay, well, hey, I don't have Big Val. I thought I was going to have Big Val, and we're not going to have him till maybe next week when we get back. I don't know. I guess I just don't. I think it's really hard for a team to find rhythm and settle in when they're all over the map like this. Every shift is different.
Megan, you've given us the solution to the betting. Can you give us a solution to the Avs sorting out whatever you want to call this, their inability to maintain their wildly abhorrent team defense, whatever you want to get it on? How do they fix it?
Honestly, I don't feel like this solution is coming from me either. It's coming based off of what I think Bednar is communicating with the team.
Okay.
And it seems like it is still related to chemistry and getting everyone on the team on the same page about where that effort level needs to be throughout the course of a game. I don't know if it's because there are new faces in the room that this isn't happening, because it doesn't seem like it's new people that are applying pressure incorrectly throughout the course of a game, because this is something that troubled the Avs even last year, especially at the end of the regular season. We became really concerned with how they were able to rest on their laurels in a second period and lose control of a game as a result of not always gauging how to apply pressure correctly. So anyways, thinking back to the solution, I think it's going to come down to something mental being worked out among the team and an understanding of how this effort needs to be applied throughout a full 60 minutes. Because the talent level is obviously there. They sort of regained footing in the third. They had such a dominant first that it saved their second. You'd like to just see them play a little more comfortably. We joke about the Avs enjoying being choked a little, and maybe it is an identity problem. Like maybe, but if they continue to win, I don't know.
I mean, the chat, I'm sure, can already tell the difference in our emotions on this podcast in a game where they blew a 3-goal lead, but the final score is 6-3. So you're like, it's fine.
I mean, it's not, but like how you respond to it, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't give up that fourth goal.
Right.
They get the fourth goal. They recapture control of the game. And they did it in a dominant way. And we're not there yet. But like,
yeah, we'll get there.
I think in blowing the 3-goal lead, you're like, okay, what's the difference? Because against the Islanders, it was one shift. They blow the collapses. The collapse is done. It's you're back to tied, and on the immediate next shift,
they get beat again. Yeah.
They give up what ends up being
the win, not the winning goal,
right?
But the goal that ended it.
Yes, yeah. and that's the Islanders took control in that situation, and where this was different is that the Avs just didn't cede control. They lost the lead. But their response to that adversity was different.
They didn't cede control. I do have concerns about them having another, not to the level of the Islanders did, but giving up that second goal to Columbus tonight was a little bit of a disaster shift.
Yeah.
They kind of completely fell apart in their
there's
own
nothing
zone.
good between the moment that it went from 3-0 to 3-3. There's very, very, very little good to say about the Avalanche other than they killed a couple penalties along the way. Weirdly.
I wouldn't say that this is just an Avs issue, though. Like, if you look across the league right now, this is happening a lot. It's not the old NHL where it's like you go up by a few goals, you start just shutting down, your system changes almost into a trap, and then the game's over. You win. It's like you're seeing this league-wide where teams are going up big, and then the other team comes back. I mean, the talent level's there on all the teams now. You're not running into places where it's just like, an ass kicking from period one to the end.
Yeah.
The part of it that's more frustrating to me is actually the defense, but we'll get to that on the third goal. The forwards defending for the Avs have pretty consistently found themselves getting lost. It happened with Line A tonight. It's a sort of 6-on-5 situation because of the delayed penalty. But Line A has from the blue line to the face-off dot to walk into.
Penalty was bullshit.
I know, but the coverage there is broken. I even pointed it out on the watch-along. Mm-hmm. You have both Sam Girard, I think it was, and JT Compher halfway commit to him, but there's no communication. Neither of them know which guy is supposed to be taking that. And the Avs just get caught in the middle a lot, it feels like, right now.
This seems like, I've brought this up before, like, my whole thing is, like, the center of the ice right now for the Avalanche is soft, meaning that the other team is getting a lot of chances in that, home plate area where they should be covered. And a lot of that has to do with the Avalanche defensive system of just attacking the puck. What's happening, though, is, like, from last year to this year is last year they won the puck battles along the boards.
Yeah.
So you didn't see the puck come out to the center of the ice where they're getting free shots. This year you're starting to see more shots coming from that home plate area, and that's That's a big issue. They've got to start winning those puck battles.
And the thing is, I think this is a pretty predetermined, scouted thing from teams.
Yep.
You're seeing teams specifically say, plop a guy right in the middle of the ice
Yep.
and take advantage of that against Colorado.
Yep.
So we're only at game 10, but you're going to have to start seeing in-season adjustments from Colorado's defense
Absolutely.
to counter some of the things that teams are bringing against them specifically.
Just to further this point, the Avs with a shot advantage today
Yep.
and a scoring chance advantage at 5v5. High danger chances are 10-4 for Columbus.
Yeah.
Because they're getting consistent chances from the middle.
And when you switch it over to all situations, 18-7 for Columbus, including 9-0 in the third period.
Wow.
So you're giving up the exact kinds of chances you don't want to be giving up. And it's putting extra stress on Georgiev,
Yep.
who I thought was okay through most of this game, and then kicked it up a notch
Agreed.
at the end.
The only real problem I had was the Line goal. Yes, the Avs gave Line all the space in the world, but he's pretty
That
holy
5-hole.
on that goal
Holy.
there. Yeah.
It beats him. It
Five
beats
hole,
him
yeah.
5-hole, and it's not close. Like sometimes you look at a 5-hole goal and you're like, that was a puck-sized hole.
Yeah.
That was not a puck-sized hole. That was a baby-sized hole. There were a lot of pucks that would have fit into that thing. Like, it was so wide open that you're like, what is he doing there? It's just really poorly played by Georgiev.
It's just the Avs make life so hard on themselves because they get a 3-goal lead. And yes, they hold it to 3-2 at the end of the second period.
Barely.
But they've given away the opportunity that they created for themselves. And they have to then play a significantly better third period to win the hockey game, which they don't do at the start. And, I mean, this one is just Sam Girard eating shit for the Avs, the third goal
It goes
against the Avs.
through his legs, and then he just, like, face plants, and you're like, what the hell, dude?
That was bad.
It's defended so
Yeah.
poorly by him.
And it's something I want to chalk up to, hey, dude had a bad game, which Sam Girard absolutely did have a bad game.
Oof, he was getting obliterated in the second period.
But I can't shake this idea in my head of 4 games ago we saw EJ do the same thing, fail to intercept the pass and eat shit. Blais, you've talked pretty consistently about how bad the Avs have been covering their net front area.
Yeah.
Do they need, I don't want to call it a systems overhaul, but does something need to change there?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's not working like it was last year, so you're going to have to change something. And, you know, if you trust the Avs organization, this is something that they do, and they don't shy away from waiting to change those things. There is going to be some pain, though, as they go through those changes. If they're going to address those concerns, it's going to look bad for a little bit during games until everybody buys into this new system.
I think it's interesting to see how teams are attacking them from down low, because one of the areas that the Avs just eat you up is along the wall,
Yep.
getting out of their zone. They fly the zone so aggressively. They put so much pressure. And we're seeing teams adjust to how the Avs want to attack by putting the puck really low in Colorado's zone, playing behind the net, and trying to go in front of the net, not trying to go up the wall. The Avs want that.
Yeah.
The Avs are trying to funnel pucks up the wall. It's how their whole defensive system is designed, is we want to the outside and pucks going up the wall, where if we win a battle, we can break out and we'll have the numbers advantage. We're faster than everybody, so we're just going to put the Camaro into gear and vroom, 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 vroom. They go. And so you're seeing teams have the puck down low and attack from behind going out into the front, and Colorado has not adjusted well to it. And today's game was a great example of just how bad they've defended that, because the start of the third period, you have a 3-2 lead, you've killed penalties, you think you're done shooting yourself in the foot, and then you go out there and you leave Sean Corrali. And honestly, Sean Corrali and Liam Foudy,
Both of them.
both
thought he had his
Are-
first NHL goal.
so
Stolen
wide
by
open.
his own teammate.
I'm sad.
Like, both of them are so wide open, and Eric Robinson is just sitting back there, makes an easy pass to the center of the ice, and it's a great finish more than anything else. That's a great finish from Sean Corrales.
For sure.
But
Leave a guy unattended in that area in the
well,
first
and-
place.
Two unattended.
continues to be, because after a second period where you hemorrhage chances,
Yep.
especially in front of your net, you get out with a lead, and you're like, okay, whoo, let's not do that. Let's fix that part of this and not give up chances here. You're like 2 minutes in the third period,
Well, and you
give that chance up, and it's a great finish, but what are you doing?
and
two of them, they're both there.
the expectation, especially in this game, the Avs should have had specifically blowing a lead under the microscope, given that they had 5 days to think about the 3-goal lead they just blew. And you come in and do that, yeah, it's fair to be concerned about.
He should be until they get a 3-goal lead and then just hammer it home.
Don't blow.
You're going to be concerned about it.
I do just the smallest drop of optimism there. The Avs never trailed in this hockey game.
Yeah.
They didn't fully blow it. Obviously, they won the game. So it could have been way, way worse. We are brought to you by Hassel Cattle Company. You can get your meat at HassleCattleCompany.com. Get 20% off with code DNVR20 when you check out. They'll ship it right to your door. They have a bunch of amazing beef, from Wagyu beef burgers to Wagyu sausage meat. I think it's just the same meat. They just put it in like the little.
The
Yeah.
sausages are so popular.
They literally sell us out at every.
Yeah.
I say sell. They're free, but
At Broncos tailgates, people people all turn into Megan style pizza wood chippers and just devour the sausages.
So go get those. They also sell tomahawk steaks, ribeyes, all the good stuff. If you want a steak dinner, they got you covered. Again, HassleCattleCompany.com to check them out there. And, of course, last but not least, brought to you by Athletic Greens. We'll have to ask Jesse if they help with jet lag. I'm not sure on that one, but
Good question.
they definitely help get you up and going in the morning. It's just one scoop of
If
water.
you're Jesse, don't you milk that on the way home?
Oh, absolutely.
You get home and you're like, I'm jet lagged, boys. I can't.
Need a week off.
I'm
you in 4
curious
days.
about the practice schedule too, returning. Like if they have
Yeah.
them practicing as early as Tuesday,
I expect Tuesday, yeah.
it's
We'll
going to
see.
be rough.
Yeah. We should get the team some athletic
We should
greens
get the
and
team
see-
some athletic greens.
Stop with the BioSteel drink and get some athletic greens and
Those
see what they say.
BioSteel water bottles are everywhere. But Athletic
so
Greens,
ugly, too.
plenty of athletes do use it as part of their daily routine and workout and stuff like that. It's great for your immune system, so you can get that boosted. If you're coming back from Finland, the after travel, most common time people get sick. So
True.
the more you know. Check out Athletic
Because
Greens.
they spent time in an airport, which is
Yeah,
a
maybe.
cesspool of humanity.
Go to athleticgreens.com/avalanche. Get that so you don't get sick. It'll take care of you, boost your immune system, all of that. When you order today, you get a year's supply of vitamin D to go with it. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. It was pretty dicey there in the third period. Dryden Hunt gets called for the double minor.
So they give up the goal.
Yep.
You're tied. He gets called for the double minor, and you're like, really? It's going to be like this? And you wanted to be mad about the double minor, but you're mostly just mad, like, what are you doing? Like, tomahawking another human being like that.
Control your stick.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the kill was great.
Excellent penalty
Yeah.
kill, top to bottom. That they have flipped the script and get the power play the other way. And
And the PK was great in this game. We should
top
really,
to bottom,
like,
yeah.
we're talking about this kill in particular, but they killed the earlier double minor on Nathan McKinnon, and they get a scoring chance on that. I think that was the one
they
that
should have scored a goal.
that Rodriguez to Cogliano, who
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the shaft of the stick from Mercy.
Yeah, I
Kings.
think
Did
it
it
was-
actually hit something?
Elvis got a piece of it somewhere.
Because I was like,
Uh,
that was the whole
it
net he
didn't
had to
hit
shoot
the
at.
post.
Yeah.
Oh.
On replay, they saw far side. It never got to the post, but I couldn't tell exactly what I think it was the shaft of the stick.
Yeah, I think so.
So
too.
it might have
luck.
been.
That's bad luck.
It might have been one of those ones where you're like, That dude got so lucky.
It's bad luck, but it's also this is becoming a repeat offender for Cogliano not finishing these.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, after in the Islanders game, the Compher centering pass, and he blows it right in front where you're like, jeez, man. But it was I will say, it was an interesting start to the third period because it was 3-2. You did have that shift, Compher to Kaut.
Yep.
Kaut hits the post and just barely,
It doesn't trickle in off
just
the goalie
barely
for
doesn't
him.
get that thing to go. Then they tie it. Then the 4 minutes, and you're like, what would that have done for Martin Kaut's confidence?
Yeah.
What would that have done for his quest to like stay
Be an NHLer, yeah.
Which, by the way, we're talking about PK here. Martin
was
Kaut,
good. He was
especially
really
on that second period double minor from McKinnon, Martin Kaut was really, really good on the PK. And those of us who have watched the Eagles are like, not a surprise. He's been good on this unit before, but to see him be that effective and to work that hard and to just win a battle and get a puck down the ice like that, that's why he got the 9 minutes. That's why that's the stuff that he needs to do. It may be limited opportunity, but if you play well on a PK, you play well in a situation where a coach is really trusting you, that's how you continue to build it up. He needs to do a little bit more at even strength, no doubt, but he did come very close to scoring what would have been a nice goal. It was a really nice tip. And then the work on the PK, it was good from him, but that PK really just, I think, should be commended. It was a really, really solid performance overall. When the other team goes 1 for 7, and they have 2 double minors, they don't score on either one of those. That could have turned the game around. That could give them momentum. You score in the first half, and then you get that other minor. You get the second half to try and get another one. You score on each half of the double minor. That changes games in the blink of an eye. And the Avs just did not allow that to happen. So the PK, it gives up another power play goal. But 1 for 7, I will take a 1 for 7.
Yeah.
That,
Well, and
especially given the circumstances.
depending on
It's
the angle you want to look at it, the difference in this game is the Avs win the special teams battle.
Yeah,
They get 2 power play goals.
in 5 chances.
Yep.
So 2 for 5 versus 1 for 7. Again, that's your difference.
And if you could take one picture and frame our frustrations with Mikko Rantanen into a single frame, would it not be him actually shooting and scoring on the one-timer from the circle in the power play that everyone has been begging him to shoot?
I mean, I've talked about it a lot so far this year that their power play has given so many different looks. And then when it stagnated a little bit, what did it do? It settled into give it over to McKinnon to one time.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? Why? You have Mikko Rantanen, who has scored so many goals in the last few years. A lot of them of the one-time variety on a power play. He's that guy for you.
Yep.
Why has he been reduced to primarily playmaking and creativity versus giving him that opportunity? They do it. He rewards them.
And that was a shot and a half.
It was
a great
an
shot.
awesome
my.
shot.
Yeah.
That was not a... He had a lot of net to hit.
Yeah.
And he made it look prettier than it needed to be. It needed to be a good one because Merzlikins got over and contested.
Who has the best 1T on the Avs?
It's Mikko. I think then it's probably Evan Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But
I was going to
Mikko.
say.
Mikko has shown it over and over and over and over at the NHL level that he can make that shot often enough to be a legitimate weapon on the power play. And it was great to see that come back in the arsenal. That he's
It's
not
still
down
there.
below the goal
Yeah.
line. That he moved out. They make great work to get him that puck in that opportunity.
Yeah.
It's good puck movement all around. One-timers require that play requires everybody to move.
Well,
And that puck movement created the movement from Merzlikins, who does a great job getting across the challenge, but a great finish from Mikko. It's a great finish.
I don't want to undersell Cale Makar on that play.
Absolutely not.
In a game, especially on a game on questionable ice, the puck was bouncing a lot in this hockey game. and Makar serves him a perfect pass that he can cut loose a one-timer on from that circle. The Avs power play continues to be their best part of their game by a pretty good margin.
I mean, it's where their skill is taking over.
Yeah.
And pushing them ahead.
But even then, like you said, yes, it's the best part of the game. You're seeing different things. You got to go from the second unit tonight, and then you have same but different as the Avs go back to Mikko on the one-time spot there. Megan, how would you score this third period for the Avs? Because obviously they get to the 6-3 final. How do you balance that with the not so great start?
Sorry. Second period?
Third period.
Third period? And how do I compare it to the second period and the first?
I would just say, how do you rate the third? However you want to go.
In the scheme of this game, I don't even know. Like, gold star first period, good enough. Third period, bad second.
Okay.
I think the first was still so strong that it won them the second and a little bit the third.
Sure.
But there were important things that happened in the third period, too, that I would still grade it a good period. It needed to be at minimum good because of how bad the second was.
Yes.
Georgiev's save on Line A on a breakaway. Like, that is when AJ said he was good and then he took it up a notch.
Yeah.
Important. Like, it cannot be understated to the role that Georgiev played in this game.
How was he on the other blue line, by the way? Uncontested.
The biggest
He was
cherry
just-
pick.
he was
was
just-
it a
Yeah.
shift change or was he cherry picking?
No, he was cherry picking.
Cool. So
Yeah,
the
because
coaching
the
staff was
Avs-
going back to squirt hockey.
The Avs
You go stand out on the far blue line.
attacked. Well, the Avs went all in. Everybody attacked, and they were buzzing, and they were flying around the net. And Line A just, like, leaked out the back and was like, my guys will get it eventually. I'm by myself. The whole ice is a passing lane. And then your classic great shooter, not good at breakaways. And,
Yeah.
like, how many times have you seen guys who are great goal scorers, but they do it with like great shooting, not very good on breakaways because they don't. The guy's not moving. They've got to try and pick a spot, and they're just not comfortable with it.
Reminds me, kind of jumping backwards here, sorry.
All good.
Back to the point where we're talking about Mikko's patience. You have to respect it because go back a couple games and Mikko walks in on the shootout on Shesterkin and just rips a laser.
Well, and look at the breakaway that he scored against the Islanders. He just rolls down and just smokes a wrist shot top shelf.
Yep.
Just blows it right past Varley, and you're just like,
Okay.
like, he can absolutely just do that to you whenever he wants.
You have to respect the shot.
Yeah.
So when he decides to be patient with it, he gets goalies to bite.
It's a great point. It's a great callback.
Sometimes lucky.
Yeah. Because it is like you see how Line A scores from that half wall with the 6-on-5 advantage, and it's not played well by Georgiev.
Yep.
But that's where he scores a ton of his goals.
Yep.
Is from that general area right there, where a lot of great shooters score a lot of their goals. But with Rantanen, we've seen his breakaways. He's able to do serious damage, and in the shootout has been a fine shootout guy. Yep. But a guy like Line A, where it's more shot than like
all shot, no move.
Yeah, like than like a creativity where, you know, the TJ Oshie, Troy Terrys of the world just eat goalies up because they've got an endless bag of tricks up their sleeve where they get them moving and then they're good enough to put the puck where they want to put it. But with Line A, he doesn't make any kind of meaningful move. He's got a year to think about it, which might have actually been bad because he had so much space that it was like he can get as cute as he wants.
Yep.
Because sometimes on breakaways, like Logan O'Connor is a great example.
Overthinks it a little bit.
Where Logan O'Connor typically will have a guy like hounding him.
Yep.
And so he doesn't have like, he's got to shield the guy chasing him. There was none of that. This is as close to like a penalty shot in live action as you can get. And Georgiev just, he doesn't bite on anything. He doesn't sell out. He doesn't do anything. He just waits him out and just eats the puck right up, and easy peasy for him.
And look, in the third period, I think one of the big keys, And what we didn't see in the game against the Islanders, when it came down to crunch time,
Resolve.
it's the Avs' big guns that get the job done for you. Obviously, the Mikko goal on the power play. The follow-up goal, insane play from McKinnon to find Cale, who finally puts one into the net.
And it was funny because Cale had just passed up
The
a
one
great
I was
scoring
actively
chance.
begging him to shoot the puck as he scored the goal.
You'll
Like-
hear, if you go and watch the watch along, you'll hear me in the background shouting "Cale" when he passed the puck, and then 4 seconds later he scores, and you're like, "Dang, yeah, that's it. That's what I was after. Thank you." Yeah, and then oh my God, did he ever feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Because immediately he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Cale Makar. That's right, I'm Cale Makar. Yeah, now, boy, that feels good. I like score goal. That felt, yeah, I'm feeling this now. Watch me dominate." And he just takes over like multiple shifts in a row. You're like, "Holy fuck, dude!"
I loved it. I loved the way he scored the goal. It wasn't just a shot from the point. It was right in the slot.
Used his feet.
Perfect
Yeah.
positioning. And you could see a wave of relief as
for
soon as
sure.
it happened. And then obviously he switched up
A
and he
dude,
played.
a dude that does not like to show a
His
ton of
usual
emotion.
celebration is like, yep, I scored.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's like, "Bumps, bumps,
Yeah.
bumps."
I
You really did
felt
that.
it.
And that was there was a little bit of a lion's roar there.
Yep.
You could tell he was feeling it.
It's
always great.
A little knee high afterwards.
Oh, my God.
There was. Watch it.
He didn't need to do it on the plane, okay?
Look, all right, knee-high planes have equaled only wins to this point.
That's
So
right.
maybe there's
Yeah,
something
that's
to
true.
it.
It's true.
The secret to beating jet lag.
Yeah. Athletic greens and knee highs. There you go.
Also, do not want to undersell. Definitely flew under the radar a little bit tonight. Nathan McKinnon had 4 assists. And it's definitely safe to say that Avs top line, I think the power play, especially on 1 or 2 of them, you're going, why? Stop passing. You're being way too cute. But you look back and you go, well, 4 of those passes worked out for Nathan McKinnon. You kind of give him a little bit more of a pass. So great credit there.
I was especially happy to see the 4-assist game from McKinnon.
Yeah.
Because watching Toronto and Edmonton fans all week while the Avs were off,
Yeah.
like do the superstar circle jerk,
Yeah.
and then make fun of Avs fans for being excited about Nathan McKinnon. And it was like, I understand where y'all coming from, and I know that you guys are like jacked up about regular season shit, and I'm not going to get into this argument, but the boy can play some.
A little bit.
Like just a casual reminder. Didn't have a great game, but he finished with 4 assists. So let's tone it down there, champ.
And look, the 5th goal was really the end of the game. That was the one that sealed it for Colorado, basically. That and the Georgiev save.
There really wasn't a big push.
Yeah.
A sustained push after that where you felt like the Avs were really in danger.
Yep.
Like they were under siege. It was very
That's
controlled.
Where you see they can be stifling like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that pressure, when you decide to apply it, it is dominant.
And
But it comes late in the third.
yeah, right.
It's like the 9-minute mark on. The Avs were just like, we're winning
Well,
this.
you
We're
want-
taking over.
You
This
watch
is
the
done.
first 20 and the last 10, and it's like, oh, the
Yeah.
Avs gave up 8 shots in those 30 minutes and 30 in the middle 30 minutes. Like, just play a little bit more consistently across that game, and you don't make life nearly as hard on yourselves, right?
It's kind of the Avs MO, though. I mean, for the
Right.
last few years, right? Like, we always talk about it. It seems like they get bored for a little bit, and they're like, let's see what we can do by just imploding for a period and a half.
And look,
Well, and some of that I think is like you just start to cut corners.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
you do a lot of little things, and hockey is a game that is predicated on consistently doing the little things correctly and at a high level. And whoever does that, you know, it's the old like St. Louis Blues, like you're boring but you're effective.
Yeah.
Where it was just 60 minutes of good decisions, and it was just so frustrating to try and beat. And the Avs don't do that. The Avs have 30 minutes of good decisions, and they have the kind of talent where they can style on you a little bit in a night like tonight.
yeah.
But then those other 30 minutes, they cut corners, they get lazy, they get careless. And then it's like, look, nobody is that good to
right.
get away playing like
It's
this.
so unbelievably frustrating because they've shown you they're better than that. But sometimes they just decide not to be. King of the game, come on. There's literally zero doubt about who's getting king of the game in
4 assists,
Finland.
baby.
Oh my god! Shut your mouth. The game is
First goal of the year, JT Compher. What a trip!
the only NHL hat trick ever in the country of Finland. It's going to Mikko Rantanen. Obviously, it's beautiful. Look at that image.
Oh,
They definitely forced the hat trick goal pretty hard, but it still counts the same. So
The hats were so delayed.
I thought they were too. I was like, did I not see that
Yeah.
correctly?
And I'm like, I know multiple people at this game. I know y'all motherfuckers own hats. Where are they at?
a lot of people went, I paid $70.
That's what I
for
said.
this.
I was joking downstairs. I was like, hats are $50 these days. That thing not going to some poor kid in like some charity in Finland or whatever. No, that is too expensive for that.
Love to see it. The Avs' first hat trick of the year. I have to pour water on my head now.
It's a weird tradition.
It is weird. It's a strange one. I don't know how we got here, but we did.
I mean, when you go a fucking decade without it.
That's not a real word. You made that up.
It's from Europe.
Oh, that was the safe word from Eurotrip. Yeah.
What's the safe word?
Yeah, that was the safe word from Eurotrip.
They just sometimes forget the safe word.
Let's get to the super chats here. $2 from Kevin, who says the
Rantanen
moose
had
with
an
the
assist,
hat.
by the way.
Yeah, it was a 4.9.
Yeah,
I know.
just to make sure we gave him proper credit here. It ended up as a 4.9 for him.
Pretty good. Thank you for the
Also,
2, Kevin.
bad.
6 shots. Shot 50%.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
D Grow with the 5 saying for sure there was a holding on Mac that should have been a penalty. There was a few.
That was
there was a
in
few.
the defensive zone there along the boards.
And again, that's the frustration with the refs isn't that they're calling soft stuff. It's that it's
Yeah.
wildly inconsistent.
That was right at the end of the second because it looked like he started yelling at the ref right afterwards. Because
Well, in the start of the third period, you remember like the first shift, Rantanen's like screaming at the
Yep.
ref.
Yeah.
Like punching himself in the face to show him like,
He hit me like
yeah, he hit me in the face, dude. And Rantanen was like, there's a difference between like shouting at the end. His face is turning red.
And
it was, like,
you'll
full
see
blown.
every penalty. The guy who gets called will be like, fuck off or whatever. But
Yeah.
Miko was like, no, we're
Yeah.
having a chat. about
Something,
this. Yeah.
whatever it was, did not get called, and he was livid.
Yep. $2 from Aaron, who says, good excuse to day drink today, boys? Go Avs.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would say
The
yes.
mimosas were delicious.
I-
Come by tomorrow with more mimosas.
I turned down the alcohol for today because I have like actual shit to do today. But tomorrow,
it's happening.
We getting that brunch
Moose
on.
mosas.
Yeah,
Moose
we
mimosas.
We getting that
Ooh.
brunch on tomorrow. If I have to go into a Bellini fest, that's fine too.
Brunch menu is fire
Yeah,
too.
Dude,
brunch
yes.
about it.
They do have steak and eggs too as well.
I know. That's part of the brunch menu, man. I went to Pete's Kitchen with homies this morning,
Oh, that's
so
right.
I was not like I'm still not hungry. Like that was plenty.
Pizzas, you get a lot of food at pizza.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Too many hash browns.
Yep.
It's way too many hash browns.
$5 from Sonny, who says, much love, DNVR crew. Moose is loose. I'm here at work cheering the W calmly. It's warrant resolution day at my work. So work face mode first.
Yeah,
LOL.
knowing Sonny for a long time, I refuse to believe that man has ever done anything calmly. Anything. That is an intense hockey fan.
And $10 from Justin, who says, Rudolph, thanks for the treasure map for the High Seas adventure. Got you. Thank you very much for the super chats. Any final thoughts? Anything anybody want to touch on?
Winning is way more fun.
Oh, true.
We talked, like, cut the shit. You're better than Columbus. Just go and beat them. They toyed with the food for a little bit today, but they
got it done.
closed. They closed, and you definitely, you'd asked Megan earlier, how do you grade the third period?
Yep.
A bad start, but a strong finish. Like, which do you think Columbus would have preferred at that point?
The only grade that matters at the end of the day is a W.
Yeah, and that's hey, that's 2 points.
Yep.
Bam. We were joking yesterday. Oh, they're out of the playoff picture. Like,
They're right back in it now.
oh, okay. Well, then now they're back.
Yep.
So the win is great, but it should be the kind of win that it was. Should be that kind of confidence builder where you saw a lot more Avalanche hockey.
Yep.
You saw more guys get involved. Some guys, Newhook with 2 points in 2 games. Compher gets his first goal. Rodriguez gets his first assist. Like, some guys start to get some things here. Your depth showed up. Your defense balled out offensively. I mean, tons of points for that defense today. I think Josh Manson's the only defenseman who did not register a point today. So, and Devon Taves had 2.
Yep. Cale also had 2.
I mean, you're just talking just a very, Avs.
Spread.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Knack.
We're getting there. We're getting
Great.
there.
Well, because final thoughts. My final thoughts are winning is more fun.
Good.
I mean, bottom feeders, you got to stun on those hoes. That's basically it for that.
No cap.
Okay. Megan, you have a final thought?
No.
Should the Avs claim Knack?
Yes.
The timing of it is so weird.
Yeah.
Because the deadline to claim him tomorrow is puck drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how that works. If they put in and they won't know because they could put in a claim, but they won't know if they get him until noon tomorrow.
Yep.
So the game is starting. I don't know how the cap works if they were to claim him.
Because he'd technically be on the roster.
Would they have to then not only sit but officially send down a guy like a McDonald?
Well, maybe that's why Mac only played 3 minutes tonight.
Which we talked about. If you're not going to play that guy, then you're not playing him. Quit fucking around here.
The Eagles need him. Please give him back.
God, that defense definitely
It's rough. Yeah.
needs some help other than Brad Hunt when it comes to puck moving.
But even
But-
on the defensive side, having Knack in the lineup is, I think, an improvement over what we're kind of seeing.
And this
from the
is
bottom.
where you're comfortable. This is the guy that would immediately come in and be comfortable, whatever.
Yep.
But do you really need another one of those guys? Because that's not a guy that gives you consistent help. We talked about how he had 11 goals last year. He's not scoring 11 goals again this year.
Yeah.
He's probably not putting up 22 points again. And
Really a healthy scratch once Nuke and Helm are back.
yeah, and so it's really he doesn't. You would claim him. He doesn't. He won't play for you tomorrow. He physically can't.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, you would obviously the claim would happen before puck drop, but you won't know because other teams could also claim him.
Yeah.
They won't know if they get him or not. So where does he play? Where does in my mind, what does he do that makes you better? For sure, better.
Long term, I don't know that he does for sure.
He maybe takes, so he would take out a McDonald from the lineup now.
Yep.
Darren Helm comes back. Now your bottom 6 is Nicholas Aube-Kubel and Martin Kaut and JT Compher and Andrew Cogliano and Logan O'Connor and
Dryden Hunt's in there.
and Dryden
somewhere,
Hunt, and you're these are it's so many fourth line
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Where you're when you start to get, because Nichushkin and Helm are not long term.
Yep.
They both should be back pretty soon, especially Nuke, who's
Nuke could play tomorrow. We
right,
don't know. Yeah.
went out in warm-ups and tested it out to the that's how close that is. So by the time because they don't play again until next Thursday.
Yep.
So you would get him, but
He could literally
I
be
guess
back on waivers before his first game with the Avs.
it's like putting a instead of taking a Band-Aid off and replacing it with a new Band-Aid, it's like putting a Band-Aid on an old Band-Aid. And you're just is that any better? Or do you just have now 2 Band-Aids on it? On this wound of yours. Like you skin your knee, you put a Band-Aid on it, you're like, all right, well, I need to change out the bandage. Instead of doing that, You just put a Band-Aid going across the other way. You got a little X now. Now you got 2 Band-Aids on the same thing. Are you any better off? Is that helping you recover any faster? I mean, maybe it has a placebo effect. Is that the point of it?
Honestly,
well, the Band-Aid from McDonald's is like a little slim little.
Would the placebo effect be enough to get Jared Bednar to chill out with
actually
his usage?
play those dudes a little
Because he
bit,
would be comfortable with Knack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where, Knack if Knack and Nichushkin both were to be in the lineup on Thursday against Nashville, next Thursday, that takes out Maltsev, that takes out McDonald.
Yep.
Maybe.
A couple of guys that he's very comfortable with and very familiar with. Is the placebo effect there enough?
For me, no.
It's a no for me.
It's also a no for me.
Okay.
I'm picking him up. Let's go.
Well, like, you got Dryden Hunt.
Yep.
Like, you did this
Yep.
already. And if you pick Knack up, do you then put Dryden Hunt
Back on waivers?
And you're just like, well, thanks for the memories. You're welcome for the free Finland trip.
Okay. We're going to get out of here. Everyone wish Mrs. Rudo a happy birthday. And that's all we got. You